Nestled amongst the 20-kilometre golden sands of Natai Beach, Alinta Phuket Phang Resort and Spa for relaxing, romancing, or even a dream wedding in paradise. Alinta Phuket Phang Resort and Spa is your destination.
Tim Shaw, Thailand correspondent for the 7 Network Australia, but today reporting for Phuket News TV. The ever-changing face of business here in Phuket and in Thailand was discussed here at the Holiday Inn in Patong. Importantly, how will Phuket change? How will many of the businesses be affected over the next 10 years? Discussions from the Australian Chamber of Commerce speakers and also from AusTrade representatives. But it'll be interesting to find out what local Phuket businesses think about the way ahead. Big business news here in Phuket. The Australian-Thailand Chamber of Commerce, in conjunction with AusTrade, held a business forum for not only Australian businesses, but from businesses all over Phuket to discuss how the growth of investment is taking place. One of the guest speakers, Ben Giles, who's a councillor, commercial and a trade commissioner with AusTrade and the Australian Embassy in Bangkok, and I'm pleased to say he joins us now. Ben Giles, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Tim. Good to be here.
Tell me about the expansion and investment of Australian businesses here in Thailand.
There has been a significant increase in Australian investment in Thailand over the last 15 years. It's gone tenfold. We've gone from the 18th largest investor for Thailand in Thailand to about the 15th now. Clearly there's still room for growth, and there's plenty of room for growth.
Which business sectors have shown the most growth out of the 166 Australian companies that we know of operating here in Thailand?
Of those 166, the majority are in the manufacturing space. Approximately 70 that we know of are in manufacturing. Predominantly about a third of that are in the automotive sector. The majority of the manufacturing, of course the automotive, are on the eastern seaboard, a couple of hours out of Bangkok, and most of the manufacturing is around that central area of Thailand.
We heard some startling figures about the number and the changing face of visitors here to Phuket, Russians, Chinese and of course Australian. Does AusTrade play a role in assisting Australian companies to develop their businesses with Chinese and Russian tourists?
It's a fascinating scenario and that demographic, and it's one way that we can really think outside the box and find a way to do that. It is startling, the numbers, and they are increasing, and we need to find a way for these companies to do business here in Thailand.
What would you say to Australians watching this interview about the prospect of investing in Thailand? Why should Australian companies invest in Thailand? Thailand's been a friend of Australia for generations, and Thailand is an incredibly easy place to do business in many ways. There are challenges like any market, including Australia, but there's a stable structure. The Thai people are fantastic people to deal with, and there are business opportunities here. Our role is to assist Australian companies if they choose to invest in this market, as well as assist Thai companies wishing to invest in Australia as well. But there are a number of Australian companies that are looking to invest here, and our role is to show them the way and to guide them to some of the very good allies that we have here in the Board of Investment and some of the other Thai allies here in the market that can assist. Ben Giles, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Tim. Pleasure.
You can't enjoy a holiday in Phuket without staying in one of the fantastic hotel rooms. More than 55,000 hotel rooms here on the island. But what about the rest of Thailand, and what about investing in this sector? Andrew Langdon from JLL's presentation here at the Australian Chamber of Commerce presentation was remarkable, and he joins us now. Andrew, thanks for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
55,000 hotel rooms, is that enough here on Phuket?
Well, at the present time, obviously it is. The average occupancy rate across the market is good. It's about 75%. But obviously we are seeing extremely strong growth. On average, we are seeing visitor arrivals grow in the order of about 16% a year. That's been the average for the last 10 years. So on that basis, we do need approximately 5% of total new rooms, about 3,000 to 4,000 new rooms entering the market each year or two to maintain a steady supply of hotels.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Because the Chinese increase in Chinese tourism, 50% per annum for the last number of years, plus the Russian increase. Are we going to see an increase in Russian and Chinese business investment here on the island, particularly in the hotel and hospitality area?
Yes. We are seeing Russians invest. They have bought a number of hotels, and they've actually developed a few hotels. Chinese, we've yet to see them actually invest or build hotels yet, although we are expecting that to happen over the next 3 to 5 years.
Have changes in Bangkok, in your opinion, affected business investment decisions here in Phuket particularly, and also in Thailand?
This is a very interesting thing, and you'll be surprised at the answer: no. In fact, we have just sold 2 large hotels, and they both happened after the coup. So we see people investing in this sector. They realise the risks that are here, and they're used to those risks. So as a result, we haven't seen any change, and we're as surprised as anyone.
500 million baht, about 15 million Australian dollars, and you can buy the land freehold and construct. The BOI, the Board of Investment, this isn't new news. In fact, you can own land here freehold.
Yes. This has been a rule set up for probably about 15 years or so. So if a foreign investor invests a minimum of 500 million baht in the land and building a hotel, they can apply for the BOI approval that will allow them to own the land freehold.
If you had 500 million baht, would you spend and invest it here in Thailand today?
Yes.
Why?
Another very good thing to ask. The question really should be what I would invest in. And since I look at the hotel market, I see good quality, internationally branded, 3-star hotels is where investors can get a very good return on their money. So I would invest in that market.
Just finally, with the increase in Chinese and Russian tourism, you're in the hospitality and hotel business. Will that have an effect? Will that change the face of Phuket? If so, how?
Simple answer, yes. Yes, it will. Just to give an idea, total Chinese visitor arrivals to the whole country last year was about 3.8 million. And as you said, Chinese market has been growing the last 4 or 5 years at between 48 to 50% a year. Just 4 years ago, total Chinese visitors was 1.2 million. If we see that growth keep going the way it did, we're going to hit 10 million Chinese visitors within the next 7 years. So this is fundamentally going to change things. And we're seeing hotel owners and operators are realising this, and they're making strides to actually change the way they do that. Simple things: having Chinese websites, having staff who can speak the local, the actual local face, and be able to answer to the local Chinese guests. So these are happening, and it's certainly going to change very, very fast.
And just finally, is education important for Thais to learn Chinese, part of the ASEAN developments of 2015? And secondly, should the Thai authorities relax the work permits to have Chinese and Russian nationals here to service those nationals that are visiting?
In regards to the work permit issue, I'd probably best not if I enter that. But obviously, I think at the end of the day, for the Thai market to stay actually competitive, you've got to offer services to the guests. And that can mean many, many things. So obviously, we see that TAT is open to that. We see that beginning to happen. Obviously, there are still some issues, but I think at the core of it, you are right. If Thais learn more Russian or Chinese, the actual reliance on foreigners coming in would be less. And definitely it will move that way.
Andrew Langdon, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you very much.
So there's the question. Why don't we ask those that operate businesses here in Phuket what they think about the changing face of Phuket and of Thailand? This is Phuket News TV.
An international baccalaureate world school underpinned with a social, emotional, learning, and mindfulness approach. Help your child reach their full potential. Visit our website today.
Ramesh, you were here at the presentation. Did the numbers of Chinese and Russian tourists increase of numbers surprise you?
No, I think we've been following this for a while now, and we know that this area is going to be flocked over by Russians and Chinese. If you ask me whether that's good or not, I'm not really sure. But any kind of influx into an island always helps the prosperity of that particular place.
Danny Bowman from the Phuket Directory. Tell me what you learned from that presentation.
Most interesting on the history of the industry of the hotels here in Thailand and Phuket specifically, and the changing market, the existing market, that the Chinese are coming in big time. That was probably the biggest impact that I had on today's meeting.
What impact will that have on your business, and will you start publishing more so in Chinese, Russian as well as English going forward?
Actually, we're not publishing in Chinese or Russian at all right now. We're counting on Google to do that, but I think that the heads up is right there that if we're going to satisfy the incoming market, Chinese is probably a language we're going to have to pick up in some capacity.
Can I ask you about the changing face politically here in Thailand? Would you re-question the investment made here in Thailand, or do you still see great investment opportunity here for companies in your sector?
I definitely see opportunity here for companies in our sector. Today, in today's world, competition is intense all over the place, right? Phuket and Thailand has it all. It has the service, it has the people. We just need to groom it in the right direction. We have the land here, we have the beauty here. If we can channel the right people, and with the help of the Thai government and TAT, we draw the right people here, I think there's still a lot of potential in this country, yet to be exploited.
If you had your time over again, would you still invest in Thailand, and why?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure that I would. After being in business here for 17 years, I, like many people, are exhausted and worn out. It's a challenging place to be in business. I have 10 years experience in the Soviet Union, and it was easier there than here. This location is, I don't want to say anti-foreigner, but it certainly approaches that. It's very difficult for a foreigner to be in business here. Very challenging. In the last couple of days, I spent 5 working days with the staff inside Immigration and Labor Department, turned in over 160 sheets of paper. None of it will be read. It's all stacked somewhere, and that's a shame, because we could be applying that same time to doing something to improve the economy, or improving education, or anything else going on. So I would encourage people to come here and invest. I don't think I would. I came here to write. I would like to stay here and write.
Danny Bowman, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your time.
Well, there you have it. Over the next 15 months in the ever-changing political climate here in Thailand, it'll be interesting to see how many of these changes will be implemented and how some of these businesses will adapt here on Phuket and right through the kingdom. Tim Shaw reporting for Phuket News TV.
The Saturdays Condominiums. Villa-style condominiums near Nai Harn Beach, either as a second home or for investment. Saturdays Condominiums. Sleep less, dream more. Call 081 968 3760.